let me make sure I'm recording. Let me do the due diligence. The reason I ask is, okay, basically just a macro. I'm not familiar with Snapchat. Okay, bet. So the reason I ask is because with text captions like this, depending on how much you care about setting something like this up, you can either make it like future proof, I guess is the best way of saying it. So future proof so that you can use it in any situation, anywhere at any time, or you can kind of make it like one-off proof, and it's good for a given video for a given time length, if that makes sense. So what else? I think what I'll do is kind of a little in between. So we'll talk through how I would animate it, and then how I would set it up so that we can drag and drop it and use it in any kind of situation. Definitely would greatly appreciate feedback. Hell yeah. No, I'm super down for feedback. Hello, sleevesies. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. So this is, again, the animation that we're going to be doing. This guy. Okay. Let's go and start. So, put my text on the timeline, then go straight to Fusion for every text piece so everything can be super changeable. Okay, so text is kind of a weird one, and it's weird for a few reasons, but I would say there's two ways you can go about doing this to just kick things off, right? And again, it kind of goes back to like how much do you care about setting up this kind of animation for future use? Because for one, we could just set this up to do in Fusion, and it lives in Fusion as a callable macro. Or we could set this up as a title that you can drag and drop from your title menu. So what I would say is that for me personally, I'm going to start with this text plus title. And then if you end up wanting to save it just as a macro, it'll still work the same. Hopefully. So I'm going to start with the text plus title. Go ahead and drag and drop this guy in. And I'm going to make mine. Let's go. Is this 5 seconds? 4 seconds. 4 seconds is fine. We can always adjust. Let's go ahead and hop into Fusion. Let's go in and hop into Fusion. So it's gonna be super helpful. Perfect. Well, hopefully it's helpful for everybody. Hopefully, I don't know. I might have to look up a thing or two, because when it comes to doing stuff like this, I always forget like one step or something. So just be patient with me through this process. Let's go ahead and set up our text and get our look done. Anytime we're doing text animation, I would do your best to set up the overall size position of everything ahead of time. It's not a have to, but it's kind of a nice to thing. And I think I actually have, I do have a Mario font. We could do Mario font. I think I do. I feel like I have like some kind of Nintendo-y font in here somewhere that we could use. That would be fun. I'm kind of just looking for something bubbly. I don't know. You know what we could do? We could do the classic. Go Fortnite, Jungle Adventurer. Font really doesn't matter too much. Except this is, oh man. Maybe let's do, you know what? Here. This is the font that I use for captions for a lot of the like gaming creators I work with. It's called Heavitas or Heavyitas. I like it because it's all caps and it's just got a nice weight to it. So we're gonna start here. I'm gonna make mine 0.2 because theirs was large and in charge. I basically do that. I have 4 sizes of my text as text plus files, and I have 20-ish Fusion macros. I just haven't stuck them together, so I can just go from title, tab right away. Still got to do. Okay, perfect. So yeah, let's talk through that whole process then, and it'll be good practice for me as well, because I'm probably gonna have to do something similar. This either at the end of this week, beginning of next. So they've got, looks like purple outline and shadow. So I'm going to leave that off for now. And it's going to make a little bit more sense as to why I do that later. The main reason is that, and this could be something you guys are already familiar with, when you're working with text or template nodes, the shading tab is a weird one when it comes to setting up macros, because you have each of these elements here that you can add things. So, you know, we could add our purple shadow or oops, wrong one. We could add our purple shadow if we wanted to. Doesn't matter. But each of these properties is associated with this shading element, so it just gets kind of weird when it comes to setting it up as a macro. So a lot of times when I'm doing stuff with text nodes, I try to separate any kind of additive look outside of the node itself, and that includes animations. If you want, I can show you my current setup for my stuff and what I do. You can try Knox, maybe you can send like a pic. For some reason, this voice channel does not let people share screens for whatever reason. So I don't know why, but it just does. It just doesn't. So I guess before I move forward, Knox, are you curious about how to do the animation itself then? Like this, the kind of the shaking animation? Okay, perfect. Sounds good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up each of our motions into its own like transform node. And again, I'm not gonna attach it to the text node. If this isn't something you already do, what I really recommend is splitting up individual motions into individual nodes. For smaller animations and compositions, it's not normally an issue, but later down the road, what you'll find is that things just kind of just become a pain in the ass when you have to go back and like fix things. So let's start with the pop in motion. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a transform node, and we'll rename this pop in. And we're gonna go ahead and I'm on a 30 frame comp. So let's do, I don't know, like a 12 frame pop in. So keyframe the size at the end on frame 12, go back to the beginning, bring it down to not 0. I tend to, well, let's see what they do, but I tend to find that when you're doing like expand or zoom or pop in, like those kind of motions, it feels a little bit more natural if you start with a little bit of stuff on screen. Let me see what Smitty does. He might go from 0. Yeah, he does. He goes from 0. So we could do that. We can go from 0. Go from 0 to 1. And then what I'm going to do is go over to my spline menu, select the size, expand to fit, drag and select these two, and then ease Outback Cubic. Whoop. And now we have our pop motion. So that's me selecting the two nodes, right clicking, going to ease Outback Cubic. All right, bing, we have that. The next thing that we're gonna do is mess around with the shakes. And when I'm looking at this, I see like a couple different shakes. So I'm gonna play this back. And I feel like we've got shakes in position left and right, up and down. And then if we go frame by frame, I think the size might be also changing, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just shakes left, right, up and down. But it does look like we hold on kind of the biggest position for a good bit. So maybe what I can do is with our pop in here, maybe we can, let's count in. We could actually, I mean, we could go frame by frame and count it. I'm not sure what the timeline is, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16-ish frames. How you set up animations? Perfect. Yeah. I mean, that kind of looks exactly like what I'm going to do. So I'm going to bring this over to frame 16, select our 2 points, go to the time stretcher node, pull this over. Boom. That looks pretty accurate. And then we can do our shake. Now, I think there's 2 ways of doing shakes. You could just add in a camera shake here. And that looks, I mean, pretty dang good. Or you could use a shake modifier. The default settings on here actually look pretty solid. So if I were to add motion blur, that looks pretty solid to me. If you wanted to, we could also layer our shakes. So if you wanted, like, this is kind of like macro big motion when it comes to shakes. What we could do is add another one for smaller motion. So we could change the deviation to be like 0.01, 0.01, change the randomness, and then increase the speed. So that you've got 2 shakes going on here. And I feel like that's the bulk of the motion. I don't know. What do you guys did? Is that maybe it's a little aggressive on the big shake? So maybe we could go back to this first one and bring this down to like 0.1, 0.1. Right? Is there a way to change the layout of the shake? The path pretty much stays the same for deviation. You want to change the randomness. Yes. Okay, so if you don't like the path here, there is another way that you could set this up, and it's through using modifiers. So I'm going to keep the micro little vibration one. So I'm going to get rid of this guy so that we just have the little, right? And I might even change this to be, I want to bring down the rotation deviation. That's the one I want to get rid of. Okay, so this is our little micro vibration. It's going to be done through the transform node. So I'm going to go ahead and add a transform node, and I think I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use the second one, the one with the non-XF, just because it has the XY position already split up. I'm going to, I'll let you type your thought. I mean, the camera shake. Is there a way to change the layout? I don't think so. There are 2 camera shake nodes. So you could try calling in this one, which is the other camera shake. I don't know if you can attach a path to it. Yeah, I'm not sure. If you wanted to specify the path, though, what I would recommend doing is this: I would add this transform node, right click, and then you're going to want to add a shake modifier to both the X and Y direction. And then what you can do is set the boundaries for how far it goes left and right. Since there's so few people here, would you be willing to go over? Yeah, absolutely. No, Thorns, this time is totally open to cover whatever we want. Even if there was 400 people in here, man, I'm always happy to look at whatever. Like the path almost looks like it follows a figure 8. Okay, so if that is the case, we could try setting something like that up. I'm down to give that a shot. So I'm going to reattach our what here, and let's go ahead and see if we can't do that. I'm going to add in another transform node, and then let's make our path. So I'm going to create a polygon node and draw a figure 8. And let's go ahead and make this pretty. That looks pretty good. That's pretty close, right? I really like that's pretty close. So I'm going to go ahead and publish. So what I've done is I added a polygon node. I don't know if you actually have to use a polygon node, if you could just use the transform node, but I did a polygon node to draw the shape, the path that I'd like it to follow. I'm going to right click on that path here and hit publish. I'm going to go to this other transform node that we've added, and on the center position, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and hit path. So again, publish the polygon, added a path to the transform node, go to the modifiers, and now what we're going to do is I'm going to uncheck that displacement real quick. On the transform node, modifiers, path modifier, right click, connect to polygon value, path. And now we can have this move around our thing. So if you feel like this path is too big, we could always go back and decrease the size of our polygon. And now we can animate the displacement it follows. So let's say, I don't know, or did that? Oh, maybe I need to do it from here. It looks like I need to do it from here. How interesting. Huh. Okay. So if you guys missed that, when I tried changing the size on just the polygon itself, it did not change the path size. I had to do it from the transform tab and change the path here. But from here, like, you could get really creative with how it chooses to move on the displacement here. So like you could set up like a set speed. So we could keyframe its motion on the displacement from 0 to, like, we'll go 60 frames in. Go to 1 and then loop it, right? So now we could select these 2 points, right click, loop, and now it'll continue to follow it around in a loop. Or you could set it up with an anim curve. So if I remove those keyframes, displacement, right click, modify with anim curve, change this to duration, and now it'll follow the loop through the duration of our composition. A lot of ways to set this up. Looping is exactly what I wanted to learn for anything. Okay, perfect. Well, yeah, I think that's another, I think either there's not a wrong way of going about doing that. Let me go ahead and remove that modifier. But basically what you're going to want to do is, if you're wanting to set a loop, the key to loop anything perfectly for any animation, regardless if it's in DaVinci Resolve or whatever, is that the beginning point has to match the end point. So for displacement, it's really easy, because if I were to go here, right, so we see our thing, the beginning is the same as the end. So 0 is the same as 1. So all we need to do is set a keyframe at frame 0, and then set a keyframe at however long you want this animation to be, right? Like whatever the duration is that you'd like. Go over to 1. And then in your spline menu, select the 2 points, right click, and loop. There's also looping. There's a loop button down. Where is it? Is it here? Here? Where is it? Loop. There's a loop button down here as well. I just like using the right click menu. And then we can loop our little figure 8 animation. And again, if this feels like it's too big, you can change the size of that path here to make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, feel free to ask any kind of question like that. Those are great questions to ask. Okay, so Knox, am I getting close to answering your question or not really? Are you feeling like this is kind of a waste of your time, or are we getting closer to what you're looking for? Again, yes, okay, perfect. So what I'm gonna do then is from here, this, I mean, as is, this is basically set up to do this little animation, right? So this, as is, if you were just one and done, this is set up to do that thing minus the pop out side of it. So we could go to the end, and there's a reason why I haven't animated the pop out yet. But you could go to the end and then, do keyframe the size and then suck it on out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through how you would set this up as a reusable title. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to use the keyframe stretcher node. And the keyframe stretcher it's kind of funky, and it might give us problems with our loop here. And this is something I think we actually talked about the keyframe stretcher in last office hour, so I apologize if I repeat myself. But what I'm going to do is actually, before I use the keyframe stretcher node, has anybody not used this node before? And it's totally okay if you haven't, because I'm more than happy to cover how it works again. Didn't even know it existed. Okay, perfect. So I'll try to move efficiently through talking about it, just because it I think sounds like everybody else in here has at least seen it before. What I'll say is this, Thorns, is that the keyframes, there's a lot of different methods inside the Fusion page to make things more dynamic or less dependent on specific frames, frame rates, composition size, image size. There's a lot of tools set up in DaVinci to make things very, very user-friendly. And I think it's worth just talking, even if we do skim over, I think it's worth talking over the keyframe stretcher again, just because it's a weird one to use. So the goal of the keyframe stretcher is to do exactly what it says. It's to stretch keyframes. The main purpose is to stretch it so that things always sit at the beginning of your composition and the end of your composition. So what I mean is this. Let's say we'll do a little graph, right? So let's say we've got a keyframe here for the beginning, a keyframe here for the end of the beginning of our animation, right? So this could be like a right on animation. It could be a spin animation. It could be a fade in animation, right? This is just our in animation. And then at the end of it, hello, A-Ball. At the end of it, we have our out animation. So again, right? So we've got however many frames later, we have the beginning of our out animation, and it sits right in here, right? So this is our out animation, and this is, our in animation. And depending on how you set it up, there's normally like a gap in here, right? There's this space before where you're letting things sit and kind of play out, and then you have the out animation. Well, if you're doing a one-off animation, what you normally do is you just go to the end of the animation and you just set these up here, right? So like if I wanted to, I could go ahead and go to my pop animation, and we'll do, what does this end at? 119. We'll do, I don't know, something like this. Bang, bang. We'll have this go to 0, right? And we'll spline it real quick. I think wrong one. Ease or not. There we go. Right, so we go whoop on out. The problem is let's say, for instance, again, if this is something that you wanted to use later down the road, what if this needs to sit for another couple seconds? Well, what you can do is obviously, depending on how complex your animation is, well, you just go to those 2 keyframes, go to your spline menu, and then grab those 2 points, and then hold down the shift key and just shift them over. So for simple animations, not a big deal. The bigger problem comes into play when you are having to do this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Even if it is just like a size change, if you're having to reuse some kind of like lower third or whatever, like some kind of compositional change, it becomes a pain in the ass. So what the keyframe stretcher aims to do is, instead of you manually moving these out animations, or even if it is the in animation, instead of you manually moving it, it automatically pushes it over here. So the way it works is that when I have this node selected, we have a start time and an end time. What that means is it wants to know, where does the animation start? Where does it end? This is the thing that's kind of confusing. Now it wants to know, where's the gap? Oh, sorry, there's a fly in here. I was trying to smack it. Where's the gap in our animation? And so that is right here. This is our gap. So a lot of times before I do keyframe stretching, and I think people probably do it differently, I look to set up my animation first. So I look to set up the animation so that I know exactly what these numbers are. So where does the animation begin? Where does it end? What is the gap that we're trying to expand? So if I were to pull up our pop in animation, our animation begins at frame 0, ends at frame 16. The gap starts from 16 to 28. And the out animation goes from 28 to 39. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to insert it here. The reason why I'm not going to insert it here is because if I do, it's going to try to stretch this animation as well, or looping animation. So I don't want it to see that. So I'm just going to insert it in here. Source start was 0. Source end, wasn't it 16? Our stretch starts at frame 17, goes to, was it 28? And our source end was it 39? So now, when we play this, it should still animate in at the beginning. And it's going to hold our animation, right, until we get all the way to the end of our composition, and then it pops out. And it's going to work no matter how big we make this, it will always animate out every time. The trickiest thing to learn with keyframe stretchers is just kind of getting used to this, right? Beginning, end, where's the gap? I think I actually need to make this 40. Yeah. Bang. So that's the keyframe stretcher. Very powerful tool. It's what most people use for any kind of like title animation. Like if I were to, well, hopefully I don't bite myself in the touche. Let's see if there's a title that we can look at that does this or not. None of them animate out. Sick. None of them animate out. What about this one? There we go. Okay. So if I were to bring in this title here and then take a look at the inner workings, they all have keyframe stretchers. So that's how that works. Keyframe stretchers, really important. So now that we have the keyframe stretcher put in, you're kind of set up. Like you're kind of set up to use this however you would like. I'm kind of thinking in my head how I would like to approach this and save this. I think what I'm going to do is if you wanted to save this as a macro, I think you're good to go, right? Knox, you've done this enough times. I think you know how to right click, macro, create macro, save it as a macro that you can use wherever you would like. The thing that I'm thinking about right now is if we want to add these different shading tabs, like if we wanted to add this or we wanted to add a drop shadow, this becomes difficult to do with text nodes when it comes to creating a macro. So what I'm probably going to recommend doing is Anim Utility is a really powerful script, animation engine if you have Studio. It's confusing at first though. Did you use anim curves? I missed that part. I did not. No anim curves here. No anim curves, just simple animations. I think what I'm going to do, Knox, is I'm going to leave it as is, and then I'd show you how. So, okay, perfect. So I would show you how I would go ahead and set this up for me if I wanted to save this as a title. So if you want to have it as a title saved to here, we cannot just drag and select this, set settings, save as, and save it as a settings. And the reason being is that text is so weird, man. It's so strange. So I've shown this off before. And let me see if I can't find it real quick. Is it this one? Yeah. So what ends up happening is if you try to save your text node here as just like a title, right? So you go to save it in your title folder. Can I show my folder here? Or not? Hello? No? Okay. If I go to save it here without taking a couple of steps, what DaVinci does on the back end is it looks, so like, see, I have all of this stuff here and it's just not displaying. It looks to connect the template node to the media out node every time. It'll skip through anything else you set up in place. So it's still like feeding into my other stuff, but we don't see it. So I have to go over here and then do this in order for you guys to see the animation. So it's weird. It's like, it's so strange. It's so strange. I don't know why it does that. So what you end up having to do is my screen is, oh, okay. Try again. Can we see me now? No, really? That is so bizarre. I feel like this happened last time. What about now? Yeah, that's so weird. I don't know why it does that. How strange. If I go back to full screen, is it going to break? There we go. Huh. All right. Strange. Strange. Good comps. Thank you for saying that. So all I was showing off is that we have to basically set up a macro for this to work, because otherwise what happens is if you just try to save it as a dot settings as like a title to save it so that you have access to all of your template stuff, right? So like the layout, like all these shading tabs, DaVinci will skip over the rest of your nodes and just go from template to media out. So you lose out on all the things that you set up to make your animation look as good as it does. So what I would do is we're going to save this as a macro first and then as a title. So have you tried copying the template and pasting the settings? Yes, I've tried. I haven't tried it in a little while, so I don't know what's changed, please. But yes, so like when I set up my captions initially, I did a deep dive on like dot settings files and text and tried a bunch of things, and it just, man, it's so strange. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click. I'm dragging and selecting all the nodes. I guess we need this one as well. Dragging and selecting all the nodes, right clicking, macro, create macro. We'll name this, I don't know, pop in shake. I don't use, so it's not that it won't, it'll work fine as a macro. I'm just saying that like if you want access to all of your templates, so I guess what I should say is this. if you want access to let me take a step back. Sorry. No. If I want access to every single text property here, so the layout, transform, shading, and I want the ability to add an outline, add a drop shadow from the edit page. In order to do that, you have to have the template node communicate to the edit page. You have to have that text node communicate to the edit page fully. But when you do that by just saving as a .settings file, this is what happens. So I don't think I explained that properly. So it's not that this template node doesn't work. It's broken. It's just that if I want to use this from the edit page, we have to take a couple of extra steps. Does that make sense? Maybe? Yeah, exactly. So that's why it's not that big of a deal. So what we can do is drag and select our nodes. We'll go to settings, or excuse me, macro. Create macro. We'll name this whatever we want. So pop in shake. And then we just need to toggle on the style text. We can change the font, the style. We can do the color. I think that's really it. I think that's it. Right? I don't know if, so you could go in here to like the different camera shakes and change, like you could add the camera shake intensity if you wanted to, but I think that's it. And then we can go to, I'm going to save it as a group, and then I'm going to save it to my desktop. Bang. Now we can just add it to the edit page. So I'm going to go find my edit page folder, edit, give it a second to think. Titles, go to my folder, show the folder, go ahead and minimize this, drag it in here, close it. Go back to the edit page. And do I need to let this, I might need to reboot DaVinci. One sec. But now we should have that title on the title page. I might have saved it. Hopefully I saved it in the right folder. I think I did. But if not, you just got to find the right folder to put it in, and then you're good to go. You're good to go. Please work. There we go. And there it is. Or not. How bizarre. Oh, I boofed. Hold on. I boofed it. That's so funny though. Ungroup. So I did not check on this camera shake as the output. I don't believe. Settings. Macro, create macro. Yeah. So that camera, this output has to be the one that's checked on. That's too funny though. Path 1. Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and go back to our template, toggle on our stuff real quick. Save as group. Desktop, save, bang. How bizarre. Do, 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 do. We almost did it. Hopefully it works this time. I tried to have trouble when first starting. I think you need to find the folder that requires admin access to edit the contents of the folder. At least I do. Are you on Mac, Knox, or Windows? Windows, huh? Yeah, the whole folder system is a bit weird because there's kind of like two key directories for it. So hopefully now, is this gonna work? There we go. I love that this isn't the right color either. I must have checked something on weird. Oh, you know why? I know why. I know why. You have to, when you check on the colors, you have to do the RGB in alpha. But yeah, it should animate out as well. So what I would do though, so with, like, if you wanted to add border to it, I would go into the pop-in shake here and then edit it within Fusion to add that border. And then for that, specific project, then I would bring it into the project and then have access to it. That's what I would do. The other 4 animations should hopefully be easier. Hit me with it. Yeah, you might even, like I said, before you go to save it, I would probably go to, make sure everything's all set up exactly the way you like it. Thorns, did you want to send me over that video as well to take a look at? I was going through the Dreamglow tutorial and stuff. It so badly I haven't had the time to figure out what I did wrong. What do you mean? You went to go make your own Dreamglow? Yeah, Escape is a legend, man. I love his stuff. Love it. The glitch of, oh, okay. Glitch I might not be able to help you with. That is one I am unfamiliar with. Got it. Did I miss it? Okay. This probably has some kind of preset effect on it, and there are glitch presets inside DaVinci, so there is like a one. So there are like glitch effects that you can use that will kind of emulate this. So this block glitch one is kind of cool. But I don't know. I don't know enough about setting them up. I think Jake has one. That's a pretty good tutorial on how to do glitches. Yeah. So I'd recommend following one of his tutorials on setting those up. In essence, if you wanted to do it by hand, excuse me, I think the principle behind it is setting up a I think what you're supposed to do is set up a displacement node. Set up a fast noise like so. And then you can either do like something like this where I think, is it the other way? Yeah, it's something like this, and then do a mosaic blur on it. Feed that into your displace. And then I'm trying to remember how you do this. It's like, yeah, you do something like this, increase the seethe rate, and then have some chromatic aberration. But I would, to be honest, if you want to do a glitch thing, I'd download something. There's a lot of glitch effects out there. Unless you really want to figure out your own and you have a specific look in mind, I would download a glitch effect and make it look. And then you do something like this. But the glitch one is tough. You had a tutorial on how to use the Dream Glow effect. Downloaded it and applied it. Did I? What one was it? Got it. Yes. I wonder. There's probably a way that we could like look at. I have a couple of pre-built-in. Oops. Transitions. I wonder if like we could open up one and take a look. No, you could be. Dude, I use Thorns. I use Dreamglow for everything, so you could definitely be right. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Let me, Thorns, Nox, go ahead and send, why don't you send over another one of the animations that you want to use, and let's take a look at Thorns' video real quick. Okay, so what do I need to know, Thornsy? Anything in particular? Also, appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out on a Thursday, man. Little Thursday fusion sesh. No big deal. I'm trying to think of what I should do. I haven't eaten yet. I'm trying to figure out. I could, so I'm at the office now, so I could go home and make food. Or I don't know. Unfortunately, there's not like a lot of good spots around me. There's like a Subway, but dude, I just don't rock with Subway. I wonder if I'd like a burrito or something. I don't know. I filmed and edited this. Didn't have an ideal lens, but had fun piece. Oh, bet. Yeah. Let's give it a watch. I'm super down. Super down. Let me put on my headphones. Jack, I tried answering this in the quick help, but I didn't really get it. Okay. The individual words popping from the center. Got it. Okay, I will lower the volume. Hell yeah. Okay, so a couple initial thoughts. One, dude, don't be afraid to just let the footage play. And what I mean by that is I don't think there's anything wrong with adding the overlays to kind of like dirty it up, but you could probably get away with just learning how to color grade a little bit more, or adding in some grain in DaVinci if you wanted to do that. But for like anybody who's watched a video like this, the grain in the the noise in the overlay can kind of like, because it's looping over and over, it almost becomes like a focal point for people to kind of watch. I like the pacing of the cuts. Let me go ahead and play it again from the beginning. Overlays are nukes. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with it. Like, especially in the intro. I think it works well in the intro. I think here though, cut it out. Let's watch these people do their thing. Love that. Okay, so another thing to think about when you're going through with your edits, right, is so far, if we were to look at the timeline, there's a lot of shifts in, like, well, how do I want to phrase this? The reason why I think that this little sequence right here works really well is because it's an interrupt from the rhythm of your cut. So we're about 40 seconds in, and we've had about the exact same pace of cutting and shot style throughout the video. And a lot of times, you know, with the footage that you're working with, there's not a lot you can do, right? Because, you know, you're given a limited amount of footage and, you know, perspectives, and assuming you're a one-man team. But if we were to look at that timeline, I would bet it would probably look something like this, where everything's got like a nice even space to it. And what can kind of happen as a viewer is that we almost just like go into autopilot mode, because you're just like boom, 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 boom. So don't be afraid to either let certain sections breathe a little bit, chop things up, play around with the rhythm of the edit. And then when you do have moments where there's like the what would you call it, the break in the song, I love that you let that just kind of like have its own little space. It does change a little when it hits the headline band. So when first section you're in is a match of the supporting bands. Okay, heard. Let me shut my mouth then, and let me play the rest of it. Another comment, and I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on this. If you're filming, I would avoid doing drastic camera motion unless you're tracking something one-to-one or you're looking to transition. So with something like this, where you're following the guy up and down, this could be a cool handheld camera motion if you were looking to transition to the next cut. So like on the up motion of the camera, so we're going down, up. On the up motion of the camera, you could choose to cut here and then continue to cut to like another camera scene where the camera's moving up. Otherwise, I feel like it becomes a bit hard for somebody to watch. Steadicam is normally a stronger choice with a lot of the edits. Fire. Well, that was dope. Did you do that? Oh, yeah. Look at my man getting everybody a stroke. Nah, you're good, man. I like it. Yeah. I mean, dude, the video itself is solid. I think my two pieces of advice for you, both behind the camera and behind the computer, is one, if you can, I would look to incorporate a little bit more shot variety into this. I'm assuming you're a one-man shooter, so it's just you getting footage, but man, it would be really cool if, like Sleeve said, we had a pull out where we could see the crowd, or we had a macro shot where we were like really close and we could see, you know, like the guy playing, or like fingers going, or something that gave us a little bit change, a different view outside of just kind of like a medium wide shot. That would be one thing. That, and I personally prefer the Steadicam. A little less camera motion is good to me. In terms of the edit, I do not know how to edit metal to metal music. Do not. I just think that there are probably sequences where you probably know better than most, where you need to introduce some fast cuts, or slow down for different, just kind of switch up the pacing a little bit so that we're kind of keeping people engaged throughout the video. What was the other thing I was going to say? What Sleeves had mentioned. I think cutting on the action, or there's some very subtle things that we could do in DaVinci that could help with kind of elevate certain shots. And they're really small changes, but they're pretty impactful. So let me go ahead and download this, because this might be cool. What do you guys think? I don't know. Did anybody else have any other thoughts? Let me factor include lens, old camera, small memory card, and a single battery. Hell yeah, dude. I am so with you right there. So with you. Dun, 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 dun. Trying to see if there's an impact frame that we could use. Here we go. Come on, man, angry. We got my man angry. Oh, that's what's up. What's up, Swain? Good to see you in here, man. So when it comes to doing music videos, there is a big time balance between visual work and like raw editing work. So depending on your comfortability inside DaVinci Resolve and the program, you know, like and how much time you have, et cetera, you could get real creative with, like, I know there's like that fast, like kind of a thing, right? It's like there's things called impact frames that you could have some fun with that don't require a lot of keyframing or anything like that. They're normally set up as like 1 to 2 frame adjustments. And it's kind of what you did on that flash sequence, right? But you could do something where you, you know, maybe you desaturate, increase the contrast. 1. Make this a couple frames. Let's do another one, but yeah, let's do, so we go bum, bum. And then maybe we cut here and instead invert the color. So it's just a little like bump, bump. Nothing that, you know, is like overly dramatic, but it's just something that kind of can help sell or bring attention to a certain moment. Boom. But there, I mean, there's billions of effects that you could look to implement in videos like these, like, you you know, some like impact, not shakes, but like, if you guys have this, there's so many here. There are a lot of subtle things that are probably within your guys' wheelhouse that you could do to add some visual flair. A favorite of mine is to use a blur and exposure. I don't know what we call these, but we call them like maybe like a camera flash effect. But it's just a little boom, bang, pew. And all it is brightness and blur. So this is brightness and blur. I would, if you guys have time, just have fun with it. Like, think there's you guys are probably super creative people. Coming up with the cut itself is always the most time consuming part, right? Like figuring out the story of the video and how you want the clips laid out. And after that, man, I just would like go out there and, I don't know, have like get creative with how you want things moving and changing. The other thing I was going to suggest is the cutting on the action thing. So let's see if we can't find the up and down. So here we go. This is that up and down sequence. And let's see if we can't find another up and down. Oh, here we go. Perfect. All right. So are you guys familiar with the term cutting on the action? What's up, Yayo? It sounds, but assume I'm an idiot. Man, we would be good friends. We would be good friends. So the concept of cutting on the action is it's exactly what it sounds like. Let's say, you know, you're over here and you're running over here. We want to cut in the middle, cut on the action. When we cut on this motion, it makes the transition or the cut to, like, if we wanted to zoom in on the face, if we wanted to zoom out, if we wanted to show a different kind of scene, if we're moving to the right before the cut and right after the cut, it feels good as a viewer. We feel like we're tracking what's happening. If we were to cut at the beginning and then cut at the end, those kind of cuts feel very prominent and a little bit jarring. So what I'm saying is, let's say we got our camera moving. Let's find a moment where we're moving down. And this is a little bit funky because the camera is moving down and he's moving up. So here we go. Let's find a moment where it's moving down. Right? So right in here, we're kind of moving down. So I'm going to cut here. Let's jump forward and find this other clip here. And we're going to go on their way down. Right? So I'm going to make a cut. We'll do a before and after. All right? So this is before. If we were to cut, and it might work because the motions are going to be pretty similar, and this will be the stuff we're going to get rid of. Let me just highlight it. So it might work, but right, it feels pretty abrupt. And hopefully, if we've done our job correctly, when I cut here, and we might even need to flip this so that they're facing the same way. So let me flip this like this. So now, hopefully, it feels a little bit more in sync. But again, like the speed is a little bit different. So like it feels a little bit off still, but we could even slow this down, right? So we could slow it down to match the motion a little bit more. So I could change the speed here to be like 50%. Feels a little bit better, right? So just those are like when you're in the timeline and you're trying to think of like how to stitch things together, matching action is a good principle to keep in mind. Another thing would be like, where are we looking in the scene? So like Buddy right here is center frame. So hopefully on the next cut, we're looking pretty center frame. Good things to keep in mind. If we're pushing in on a shot, we should continue to push in on the next. So that one you're pulling out and then we're kind of pushing in. So again, just things that kind of like smooth the edit together. It should hopefully like, it really depends on the effect and the feeling that you're trying to create. But a lot of times we want something that's a little bit more like this rather than this. Or maybe not. I don't know. Depends on what you're going for. But those are things that I think about. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think you guys did a good job. Doing music videos is not easy. Okay. Bet. Let me go ahead. Knox, let me take a look at that other clip that you had sent. Does anybody else, well, before I actually move on, Swain or Thorns, did you guys have any other questions? Like, or were there any things in the edit where you're like, well, we weren't sure about this, or what do you think about that kind of a thing?
Red Bull gives you wings. Imagine your team only bigger, much bigger. Imagine a dedicated...
Dude, I am...
Da, 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 da. Do, 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 do. We'll definitely keep these in mind. Bet. Thank you for that. Pretty proud of this one, General. Yeah. You guys, you did a fantastic job. It definitely does not look bad. Absolutely not. There's just, it's like I've probably said this a million times. It's always easier being the backseat critique, because then, you know, I get to sit back on the video and like, well, why didn't you do this? It's like, well, Brandon, shut up. Okay. Sounds good, Knox. And you said, was it 749? 749. Yeah, for only 3 months? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, folks, let's carry on to race number 2.
Oh, ooh. Oh, the word by word stuff. Ah! Man. All right.
The white people. Wait, so what's this next race? Oh, no way, and I just ran into him with a car. And he blew him up.
Okay, folks, let's carry on to race number 2.
The white people. Wait.
All right. I've seen tutorials for, I know what sleeves. I've seen tutorials for single word stuff, but never their starting point is near the center of the whole line. Yeah. Oh man, I'm trying to, I might have to get back to you on this one. I don't know if I remember having a similar issue, and I think I figured out how to do it, but I cannot know for certain. All right. Let's see, man. Let's see. It was Z offset in the shading tab. Oh, that's right. He said he had figured it out. Let me take a look. How do you? Oh. Nope. Somebody's downloading me. Is there a way to just copy? Oh, here we go. Clone? Okay. Copy, paste. There we go. Sorry. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, crew. Bang. Tim, you missed everything. You missed everything. Guys, I'm gonna say goodnight. It's pretty late for me. Hey, oh, Thorns already left. Damn. Bye, Thorns. Goodbye, buddy. Ooh. I don't know. I don't know what Jack is doing. That guy's way above my pay grade. I don't know what's happening in here, but I'm sure. I'm sure it's very intelligent. Hello, Tim. The answer, yes. You missed. We talked about 42 for a little bit. You talked about, so the question is, Tim, maybe you can help me. How do you do, it's word by word animation where the center point of the transformation sticks to the center of the word.
Okay, folks, let's carry on.
So,
Race number 2.
so the pop in is well, actually, does it? No, it looks, well, hold on. It looks like it's coming from a different center point. Hold on here. All right. That one animates from the center text, not the word. Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think you have to, I think it's a follower, right? If you want to automate it, it's a follower. Am I twisted for that? Okay. Let's try our best to figure this out. The word by word stuff is just in general very weird. Because you have to do it words. How do you, no, I'm missing something. Isn't there a different, I can't remember how you do the word by word animation. Hold on.
Rent a car from our newest fleet yet.
Should be able to size it up by word? Hold on. I need Jake to tell me how to do it again. Actually, didn't I do this? I think I did this with my captions. Hold on. Let's see if I can't remember. Yeah, I did. I did do that. Oh, but I did that weird way. I did it the weird way. People. All right. I'm sorry. Give me 1 sec, y'all. Give me a second.
So they finally added it in, a new follower. We're just gonna ignore this first page at first and switch right over to the transform page. On here we have this new offset X and Y control. If we animate it right now, this is gonna do it on the character level. But if we come up to the transform and switch any changes, we first to be of the screen. When you hit play, nothing to do. Come up to the spline editor and play in between each clip.
Okay.
And now this is where
All right. We're there. We're there. We got it. So to do word by word animation, hopefully we do this right. You need to add a follower modifier. You go to the transform tab, and then the key is to change it from characters to words. And I believe anything you do here on the transform tab will apply it to the word. Like it'll do a word by word animation. So we could do a Z offset, or we could do size. Let's try. So let's go ahead and keyframe our size, keyframe it, or not. Hello? You have to, oh. Huh? Not now, Tim. Or not? Dude. Oh, okay, there we go. There we go. You have to have... What's up, Anthony? How you doing, man? How you doing? All right. Need to invert it, flip it down, put it in reverse. Ease outback cubic. You. Timing. Add a delay. Hey! Did we do it? Is that it? Doom? Is that it, or did I boof it? Oh, I know what you're saying, Tim. Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying. Well, sleeves, I'm an old guy, all right? So give me a break. Or is that not what you wanted? You're older than me? Damn. Old as hell. Whoop. Man, is old as hell. Is it still timed by character? That is interesting. So I think there's ways, if I remember right, Knox. So again, depending on like how dynamic you want this to be, right? Like how many times you want to come in and actually change keyframes and do all that kind of stuff. I remember there was a smart man who figured out how to set up a follower modifier so that it lasts the entire length of your composition. And the way it works is with this expression here. So it takes the length of your composition, and then this minus 12, I believe, is like a user set one. So you kind of figure out your timing with this. Dude, there's a, oh, I got it. I killed the fly. So you can do some cool things with expressions that make this very dynamic. So we could do, oops, something like this. So now it'll, oh, did I boof it? I might have boofed it. Is it like 100? I don't know. I boofed it. But there's smart ways to like set this up so that the delay matches the length of your comp. But yeah, that would be how you do it. I was debating whether to just make like a 5 alternate transform macro, just going that way, but hopefully this works. Yeah, this should work. Right? No? I don't know. Yes. That's essentially it there, Tim. That is essentially it. Anthony, did you have any, actually, or Anthony, Yayo, Cobbler, A-Ball, did you guys have any office hours questions? No worries if not. No? Bet. No worries. Yeah, Knox, let me know if that is not what you were hoping for. That should get the job done. Maybe. Dude, I could absolutely smash a burrito right now. I'll be honest with you guys. Destroy one. Not really. Hey, no worries at all. No worries at all. That is pretty cool, though. Wampus Captions round 2? Wow. Wow. PC? No, is it really? That's so lame. The text here looks more like pop in per word. I'm hoping to find a way where it transforms from the center of the line. Oh. Oh. Heard. Well, you could change the pivot, right? No? Is that twisted? I wonder if that's why he said to do the Z offset. Let's try. What? Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. I hate being a meatball, man. Just an absolute gremlin. I just can't stand me sometimes. Two, 5, 6, 10. There you go. Kind of. Kind of. I feel like you could do this and then change the blend as well. So you go over the shading and then do like an opacity change. So let's go ahead and we'll keyframe that. Wow. Maybe not as aggressive. Also, I watched Kung Fu Panda 3 for the first time last night. It was a good movie. Was a good movie, man. And then, yeah, I feel like if you do a little opacity change as well. So why? Interesting. I see what you're saying, because this is not going to go word by word over here. I see, says the blind man. So yeah, I'm curious if I don't know. That is a good question. Do you have some video about portfolio creating? Anthony, I don't, but I could talk to you about some tools that you could use if you would like. You have a question? Tim, I would love to answer your question. But I got confused watching it. Yeah. I don't know, man. I would probably try to figure out the pivot. Pivot. I feel like that's the key to our problem here. I don't know, man. Huh. When is the next color session happening? Tim, mind your business, man. I don't know, man. When are we doing it? Let me know when you're ready for the last two. We can definitely do the last two.
You download our open source.
Anthony, I lost about the portfolio. I don't know what to put in it. Trying to make a showreel portfolio of some kind. Yeah, I think so. When it comes to building out a portfolio, have you worked with people in the past? Do you have client work that you can show, or not really? Are you still trying to like get your first client, kind of a thing? Trying to get your first client. Bet. So, what I would really recommend doing, Anthony, is I think it's going to be a lot easier for you to figure out what you want to put on your portfolio when you have things to put on it, right? So, what you might need to do is go out of your way to edit some videos for yourself, do some creative projects, challenge yourself to put together some videos, that show off your skills as a creator, and then from there, it'll probably be easier to put together a show reel for you to display. There's a lot of tools that we've talked about that you can use for putting together a portfolio. The big one, so the big thing that I always recommend for portfolios is you just have to exist online somewhere. So it could be through Instagram, it could be through socials. I have you've seen them. There's like social links like this where people can find and they can click through and see where you're at and see your different stuff. There's a ton of these like Linktree, Solo2. I found another one that was kind of cool. It's called Zap. That's kind of fun. It's free. This is kind of a cool one I saw. There's a really cool website called youtubejobs.co where you can go and share videos that you worked on. And there's an option for a portfolio. And it's all organized for you. There's other tools like Card that again like builds little websites for you so that you don't have to stress so much about where to post your stuff. Tim said, shoot some small things that look like they go in bigger projects. Yeah, I think that's really good advice, man. My suggestion to you, Anthony, would be to figure out the kind of work that you might enjoy doing. And if you want to do something creative like music videos, or you want to edit for a YouTuber, or maybe you want to do motion graphics, or maybe you want to do weddings, or whatever, maybe try to figure out what those kind of projects are that you'd like to be involved with, and try filming it and shooting it yourself. Put it out there that like this is something that you can do, so that way people can see proof of concept that you can do that. So that would be my recommendation. I don't know, does that help? Do you still like other follow-up questions to that? 2 quick questions from Knox. Yeah, of course. 807, shake is separate from background video. How do you do that? 807. Shake is separate from background video. What do you mean? They're all shaking. What do you mean, man? It's all shaking. The shake of the gameplay is different from the path of text shake. Oh, well, I think what they probably did is put a camera shake above already shaking text. So you could do it so many different ways, but it kind of looks like he used that one thing that we did. Like he did this, the thingy, and then do I have example footage? And then either in between text and video or above all of it. You guys ever watch Blue's Clues growing up? What a good show. Go ahead, add your camera shake. Hello, did we not get added? What is going, Resolve? Oh, this is a transition. Don't worry about me, gang. Don't you, where's the camera shake? What the hell? Why isn't it called shake? Am I missing something? Is it just called shake? Shake? Excuse me? Am I missing my camera shake? Hello, what is going on here? Did my DaVinci just break? Oh, why do I only have Topaz Labs? What in the hell? Who broke my DaVinci? Dude, what is going on? All right, well, we could do this in Fusion. We just go ahead and add a camera shake to our adjustment clip. Dude, I'm kind of freaking out, man. Kind of freaking out. So you do that, or you can put it above it. I don't know, but it's a transition. Look, it says transition. So this is the transition of it. What the hell? So another thing that you can do, Knox, is if you're ever trying to like group things or have like, you know, you've got like 4 or 5 layers here or something like that, or even if it's just 2, and you're trying to have something apply to one but not the other. One, split it up, slide it in between. You know, do that. 2, you could always hop into Fusion and do it within the clip itself. Or 3, what you can also do is compound them. So you could compound your adjustment clip in the video footage so that they're grouped together. And then if you wanted to, you could apply effects to this compound clip that won't get applied to your text, or, you know, you could even like go into the compound clip and, you know, add some more stuff. That kind of a shindig. It's under Resolve effects. Wait, now hold on. I'm not tripping here. You guys saw this. Last time I clicked on Resolve effects, all we had was Topaz Labs. Nah, this one's not on me. I am not crazy. Yeah, I'm about to have a hernia. No, not on me. Gotta set it to search all the. I did. Look. You guys are acting like a bunch of chicken sauté right about now. You understand me? Okay, so that's what I would do. Is I would either go into Fusion for each one and apply the camera shake inside Fusion, or I get smart with how you set up your adjustment clip. So again, like vice versa. Let's say better example would be if I need the text on top and I want to do a camera shake, but I don't want it applied to the footage underneath, compound these. And of course, it's going to be fucking broken, dude. I love DaVinci Resolve. But now our text is going to move, but not the footage behind it. If this ever happens, what you can do, like if you have the black screen of death, where things are nested all weird, you can always go in and add a Luma keyer to get rid of that. And then, you know, play with this. I don't know. You got to figure it out. You got to figure it out, man. You just got to figure it out. All right. So the other one was text warp. Text warp. Okay. I'm telling you guys, I'm about to, you know what I'm going to do? I wonder if anybody's got breakfast burritos right now, because that sounds insane. Can you imagine like a chorizo breakfast burrito, right? Or even just a bacon breakfast burrito? Good Lord. Vibes are incredible. 2253. Okay, Code Rabbit.
Here to help. Code Rabbit uses AI to provide.
He's dead. I think it's okay.
Here? Smitty's got 8 milli subs. Good. Insane. Vibes are insane. We're talking about this guy? Oh. Oh. I see, says the blind man. I think you could pick your poison with this one. I do. I think you could go about this multiple ways. Multiple ways. You could do it with like a turbulent displace. Where is it? Turbulent displace. So actually here, we'll do it live. Be a displace node. Fast noise. Bang. Keys for turbulent displacements. Displace, fast noise. Plug her in. Plug her. Oh, I gotta, yep, there we go. Plug her in. All right, now the way a turbulent displace node, like, what are we doing? Like, what are we talking about right now? I mean, really, why can I, dude, I'm gonna have a conniption. Can you just, hello? Hello? What? Dude. Can I help? Oh, this is a Displace 3D node. All right. Don't mind me. Do not mind me. That was a 3D node. Do not mind me. Okay, so the way a displace node works is depending on what channel you feed it in, it is going to move those pixels with a given strength based off that channel. So what a lot of people do is instead of working with luminance, they'll go over to XY so that things shift in the X and Y direction based on a given channel. The defaults are red and green. So again, what some people will do is they'll go over to their fast noise node, we'll preview it, and they'll change the colors to red and green. Yep. Whoa, dude. Did y'all see that? I didn't just anything. We hit a perfect 255 on the grain. Oh my gosh, I'm so good at what I do. All right. So now, depending on where things are red and where things are green, if I go back to my displace node here, and let's just get rid of this stuff for just a second. If I change the refraction strength in the X direction, it will change based on where the green and red are. So X is being affected by red. So over in here, Y is affected by green. And so what you can do is, oops, you can add a little bit of a seethe or movement to add some motion to it. So that's one way. This is the turbulent displace way. There's also built-in nodes. So there's like, what is it? It's called is it Ripple? Ripple? There's a Ripple node that you can use as well. If we get rid of the shine, and can I just actually, let's just work with just the text for just a second. So you would change your ripple shape to be horizontal or vertical or whatever. And then, you kind of play with this stuff to get it to look all good, all goodly. Are we not? Oh, animate, sorry. Right, so you just got to play with the properties here to get it to look the way that you would like to, but the way it looks like theirs works. So even if you do a turbulent displace or you use the ripple, or you could even use like the dent node. You get crazy with some dent action. Maybe it's not the cosine one. Is it sine? So you can do something like this. Right, just going insane. Either way you go about doing it, it looks like they key the denting action only happens for a few frames. So like, let's actually go back and we'll add in our dent here. So it looks like theirs only happens for the first couple frames. So you would just keyframe off the strength. So something like that. So then if we were to add in our pop in again, or not, did we lose our dent? No. Oh, I did it backwards. So little distortion. And again, like you could increase the dent strength. Then it keyframes off. See how it kind of distorts it, and then it comes in. How can you shrink specific characters in a text count without Nox, you have been pondering. You have been pondering some things. How can you save a macro with multiple nodes as a single node rather than a group? I think I know the answer, but just curious. Can you save a macro? Yes. To answer the second question, yes, you can save a macro as just one node. So I wonder, can I call up? Okay, so this is Dreamglow, right? This is Scapes macro, single node, right? Not a group, but you can change it to be a group node, and then you can see all of the ish. So yes. Can you shrink? Actually, before I answer those couple questions, are we happy with this? Less happy. I think this would probably be how I would do it. I wouldn't mess with turbulent displace or doing the ripple stuff. I kind of like the distortion from the dent. Can you shrink specific characters in a text comp without editing anything? Can you shrink specific characters in a text comp without editing everything? Can you shrink? Yes. Yes, I think. If I'm understanding your question correctly, you'd like to be able to shrink specific letters or words, right? Without doing all of it. Yeah, I think we're going to get to character level styling. I think the way it's done in the clip was more of a perspective warp rather than a ripple warp. Oh, okay. Well, we could also do that. You could do a lens distort. So there's 2 lens distort nodes that you can do, that you can use. But again, I think the key is you start with Hello? You start with some kind of distortion. And then you keyframe it off. And then as it comes in, you keyframe off the distortion amount. Wait, that's actually kind of sick. Hello? Did we just invent a new text animation? Coming to you now from the Wampu shop. Sure enough. Sure enough. Wow, wow, wow. But yes, to go back to the text one, I believe what you're asking is, can you change individual letters or words in one text node? Hopefully. And if that is the question, the answer is yes. You're going to want to right click in your text field, character level styling. So again, let me undo that real quick. You're going to right click in the text field itself and you want the character level styling modifier. This is the one, character level styling, CLS. Go over here. And then once you're in the modifiers tab, what you can do is you can select whatever letters you would like or words, or anything, and you can change any property you want on them. No, right? We might need to get this in the shop. Now make the ends flap back and forth. Sleeves, you know what, man? Why don't you do some flapping? You know what's really flapping? That mouth of yours, man. Okay. Are there any other kind of quick questions? Back to the warp one. What about if it doesn't flap? What do you mean? What about if it doesn't flap? You don't want the flapping? I think you would just shift the keyframe position. Similar to if you look at it like a flat sign and you view it from one side, how the further part gets smaller. Okay, so I think Knox, what I would suggest is I feel like you have a particular look in mind for how you would like this to operate. The lens distort is going to give you that curvature that you're looking for, where it's really like wrapping around something. Okay, that's going to be the lens distort. If you're wanting to have something with some, I'm trying to think of a word besides displacement. But if you're wanting something with displacement, use a displace node. And if you're wanting something that adds perspective to it, you can either use a 3D camera to do that, or there's a really handy node inside DaVinci that's called a DVE node. I don't know what does DVE stand for? Do we know? Direction, velocity, exponent? I don't know. What does DVE stand for? But the DVE node will allow you to rotate things in 3 dimensions. So you can change like your pivot here and rotate things like so. Yeah, DVE it's kind of like the combination of a 3D camera and 3D render node all in one node. It's nice. Is there a perspective control? That's kind of cool. So if you do something like this, Oh. Oh, neat. Interesting. Very interesting. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah. And that's my 2 cents, man. And that's my 2 cents. Does that help? Maybe. I think for Knox, for a lot of these things, I feel like for you, it might just come down to understanding which nodes give you the look that you're kind of going for. And then it sounds like you've kind of got macros and animation down to a point to where you're pretty comfortable with it. So it might just be a matter of like, okay, which is the best for this kind of a question? You know what I mean? Okay, bet. Does anybody else have like any other quick questions before we make like babies and head out? Good Fusion talks though today.